Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to be talking about, is Yu-Gi-Oh really a children's card game, or has it ever in its point in history been a necessarily dominant children's card game? Now, if you look at a box of Yu-Gi-Oh from recently, in the last year or so, you will notice that it says in the box, ages 6 and up. 6 plus. Now, this is just a box that I had laying around that I thought I would show you here from Cybernetic Horizon. 6 years and up. I don't know that many 6-year-olds that play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I will say this, though, in defense of people who say Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not a children's card game. I know a lot of kids that do play Yu-Gi-Oh! Most Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that I know are around my age group. They are between 16 to, their 30s. So younger generations and all the way up to like people that started to play when it originally came out. They're either coming back or they've played competitively on and off ever since. So usually the teenagers to adults. Let's just say that. That's the usual age bracket I've seen. But I've also dealt with working with a lot of kids and teaching them how to duel. One of the locals that I go to, I've become more of a teacher to some of the kids. And that's something that I've really enjoyed doing more and more as time has gone on. As people know me, I don't play a lot at locals anymore at the moment, mainly because I'm not a big fan of the current meta. Just waiting for a ban list and I'm kind of bored. But I love teaching and deck building a lot. That is like my passion. When you want to know something about a deck build or just talk to me and bounce ideas off, I love doing that. That's my favorite thing to do. And I love teaching kids, helping to make them better. I literally, a couple of weeks ago, I've helped, in the last month and a half, I have helped a majority, I think most of them are 7 or 8 years old up to like 12 years old. I've been helping them build multiple different decks. I helped somebody build a pretty good Utopia Zexal deck. Monarchs, Vampires, Ancient Gears, except without the fusion because that's way too expensive. I helped somebody build a penguin deck, a kid that loves penguins, and he's got like a little penguin box. It's so cool. But I've helped him build a penguin deck, and I helped somebody build some zombie decks recently. He was playing ABCs, but now that ASR core has been hit, he wants to try out zombies. So I've been helping a lot of kids out, and I just love teaching Yu-Gi-Oh! To people. I guess it's because of my background and what I did in college, and my mother was a teacher. It's just rubbed off on me. But I love teaching. And teaching Yu-Gi-Oh! To kids is awesome, and I love it. I love sitting down with them, looking at their deck, and be like, oh, you have some good cards here. This is what you need to build. These are the cards you need. And then, over the course, maybe not right away because they don't have the money, but over time, they accumulate those cards and they able to buy stuff. Or they get lucky, like some people I know at locals who they know who they are, pull Bigfoot, Nessie in 3 weeks. They pull 2 Nessies and a Bigfoot just randomly out of a special edition. All right then, that's good trade bait. We'll use that to trade for stuff you need and work out a fair trade. I love doing that, and I try to help kids out and not rip them off or anything of that nature. And I always ask them, hey, are you okay with this before you do it? Like, teach them the ropes, because if we want this game to continue, we always need new blood, and we need people to step up in the community to do that, to teach people that come in to your local card shop that are young, help them out. And my locals in my areas that I've gone to are really, really good about that. Shout out to Alex, my friend. He's good at doing that a lot. He always helps out the young kids when they come in. He's awesome. If you haven't known who I'm talking about, see the Necros deck profile, see the Blackwing deck profile. Definitely go check out his channel. He's very good about helping the kids out too. But I just love doing that. And that's like something I enjoy a lot more than playing against the meta when it's kind of stale, if you know what I mean, at the current time. Don't run into danger FTK every day of the week, so forth and so on. But, so when people tell me that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not a children's card game, I go, well, you're right and you're wrong. And that's what I'm going to be talking about right now. So, yeah, it is a children's card game. It is geared towards children. But it feels like a majority or a big part of the demographic is not children that play. Now, granted, this is a small sample size. And the reason I say this is because you're not looking at the big picture. And what I mean by that is you're not looking at the kid that watches one of the old original shows, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh, GX. Like some of the kids that come to locals, they actually were watching Zexal or GX in the original show, and that's how they got into it, not watching even the recent one. So they watch some of the older ones, see that, think it's cool, then actually go play the card game. So it's different. Like the people that just watch the show, go buy a couple pack of cards is very big. And I think that Konami's like, oh, well, this is a majority. That's why you see all these times you see product release for things like Jaden recently and the original Yu-Gi-Oh show, like when the movie came out, because people, it's nostalgia, and people still watch that stuff, and they just pick it up because it's Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, you know, the original protagonist. You know what I'm saying? So, yes. So while a majority of the players that I interact with, and mainly a lot of the guys that are watching this interact with, are teenagers and adults, we can't discount that a large majority is out there that buys single, you know, just regular random packs at Target, Walmart, and random places that are just young and they don't go to locals a lot. You have to remember this. You have to keep this in mind when you're thinking about it. So, granted, in that aspect, Konami gears it towards them. But when it comes to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, it's really not a children's card game. For example, let's take the recent set that just came out, Thunder Dragons. For the most part, in the OCG, if you actually look at the way the OCG, for a good majority of their, I guess you say the last couple years, what they've been doing is they make cards that are used on the show higher rarity, and they make the good cards that competitive players would use cheaper. So, for example, they make Ash Blossom when it originally came out in Joy Springs. That was a super rare. All the Ghost Girls, I think, originally being printed have been super rare. But cards that are used in the anime, like Firewall Dragon, Borlo, those are a little bit higher rarity because the cover cards, and B, they are cards used in the anime. Why do you think every card out of every set is an anime card? Because the game is geared towards children, and because they see it in the anime and they want to buy the set. That's what Konami wants to do. So yeah, that's why if you've ever noticed, like unless it's like a Battle City with Yugi and Kaiba on it, that's why you always see anime cards, like boxes. Look, I'm going to go pull 3 boxes right now and just show you what I mean. Alright, so now I just got back. I'm going to show you a couple of these boxes, and we're going to go over how many of these main series sets that have just randomly have come out over the course of the last 2 years are actually anime cards. Anime card, right? Used in the anime. Dark Illusions. Anime card, right? Used in the anime. Arc 5. Anime card. Arc 5. Anime card. Arc 5. Anime card. Current anime. You get what I'm saying here. Everything is used in the, like all the main series sets, anime card, anime card. Why? Because the kids see it, they want to buy it because it's the recent card. Now, let's look at a different product. Let's look at something that's geared towards people for nostalgia. Who's on the cover? Kaiba, because it's Kaiba's collection. But also because we want people to buy it because of nostalgia reasons. Woo! You get what I'm saying here. Come on, it's basic marketing for Konami. So I apologize for bringing that all out and cards falling out on the ground. But yes, you get what I'm saying. They gear certain product to certain age brackets and to certain things. It's not all geared to kids, and it's not all geared to freaking old adult kids because of Yugi Kaiba. We recently got the Jaden tin and Yusei tin to bring players that played in that era. Woo! They get one Link monster out of the pack. Because remember, if you look at a Jaden tin or a Yusei tin, what does it have in it? It has one Link monster each. So they'll get this new card, new mechanic. Ooh, interesting. Let me go look up about this. Ooh, maybe I want to play. Maybe I want to buy something else. So it brings them in, gets them not overexposed to Link monsters. They want to look into more stuff. They go look into more stuff and they play. they get back into the game. I can't tell you how many times this has happened and how many times it actually has worked. Somebody sees a new tin of somebody, they went to Walmart, they brought it, they come into locals, haven't played in 5 years, want to play again. We teach them up, and they keep coming back. Yu-Gi-Oh is like a drug to some degree in that aspect for adults who used to play as kids. It's nostalgia. It's one of the reasons why Pokemon's so good. Nostalgia, and it's played a lot. But you have to keep in mind, guys, like I said, this game is geared towards kids, and it's also geared towards adults if you look in the proper places. Now, like I was saying, if I get back on topic here, is we were talking about the OCG and their card rarities and how they do things. Cards that are used competitively are usually cheaper. Cards that are in the anime, expensive. Over here in the TCG, it's a lot different, isn't it? Think about it. Ash Blossom, Pod Desires, cards of this nature. They were supers in the OCG. What rarity are they now? Secret rares they originally came out as. Thunder Dragons, supers, rares, a couple alties. Mostly all secrets, mostly all high rarity in stuff now when it comes out here to the TCG. There's a couple reasons Konami does this. And it's one of the reasons why we have never, and probably will never, get a worldwide set release, even though people at card stores always ask me, you guys know everything in the set, why don't they just release it all at once? It's money. It's money. It's money, money, money. Money makes the world go round, sadly. But that's what it is. I wish it was love, but maybe it's love and money. The love of money. By Konami. I don't hate Konami by any respect, but I understand what they're trying to do as a business. This is a business you have to think about, guys. They try to bring in a lot of different demographics. So when I hear Yu-Gi-Oh players complain, meta, Yu-Gi-Oh is a children's card game, I think we've just thrown that out so much that we forget that it's geared to different age groups and different time frames in the Yu-Gi-Oh history to bring people in. So keep that in mind. But when things get transported over here, when we get the set release, so for example, Soul Fusion, like I was talking about. When this came out, most of the stuff was not that expensive. Anime cards, more rare, more expensive. But when Konami looks at the OCG, which they do look at the OCG, and they're like, ooh, Thunder Dragons are doing good. Well, Orphegals, nobody's playing them. This deck, nobody's playing them. Ooh, Noble Knights, we like Noble Knights. We invented Noble Knights, so we're gonna, they're TCG exclusive, so we're gonna make this a little bit higher rarity because to make the Noble Knight deck look beautiful and good. So you see how they're thinking when they're doing that. They look at the OCG, they see, oh, they're playing this, make it high rarity for the TCG players, cut, and make the anime cards for the most part, except the ones that you see on the box, exactly, make them, expensive, more high rarity, but not too high rarity for the kids. Like a perfect example is Pancreatops that recently came out. People do agree to some degree that is the best card out of Soul Fusion. It's a common. Why was it a common? Who plays it in the anime? All right, yeah, that guy that played Gokis. I love him. He's awesome. He's mucho lucha libre. I love him. He's a cool guy. But I do watch the anime from time to time. But yes, you get what I'm trying to say here. Because it's a anime card, it's going to be usually less high rarity. If it's used in the meta and it's seen play in the OCG, high rarity. Now, that has always happened. That will continue to happen. There was a point in time in Zexal, I would say, that they changed up that formula to some degree, actually. In Zexal, if you look at some of the Zexal sets, they were really bad, and they kind of changed that around. If you look at some of the even 5Ds, you'll see that change that around. And if we even go back further into time, and we go back to the root origins of Yu-Gi-Oh, like I was telling you before, when really you could argue that it was a children's card game at the beginning, because when just about everybody that's watching this, how old were you when you played Yu-Gi-Oh? I know I was about 12 years old. My brother, when he started playing, he was 8 years old. So we were kids, right? young kids, older kids, about to hit teenage years. Puberty sucks. But yes, you get what I'm trying to say here. We were kids, for the most part. Some people are not. Some people didn't get into it until they were teenagers or college, I've heard. But you get where I'm going at with this. So, yes, back in the day, it was more geared to kids because that was the predominant thing. But Konami hasn't forgot its roots and continually, if you look at certain product, it's geared towards kids. It's geared towards adults. So next time you see a Konami product, think to yourself, is this geared toward kids and adults, or is it geared for both? Because when Konami wants to make money, they make the set, the anime cards, usually low rarity. The cards that are sought after, high rarity, because the adult players with money will want to buy them. Now this does make a divide in the community compared to the past. Currently, if you want to be a meta player and you're a kid and you don't have income, you can't. It's really, really hard unless you get a lot of cards get reprinted and you're able to pick them up, or you pool good and you're able to trade for stuff that you need. In that case, you're able to play as a kid. When we were younger, when I was younger, it was a little bit different. And what I mean by that is, yeah, there were some expensive cards, BLS, Breaker, DD Warrior Lady, some of the higher cards that were used a lot, Confiscation, Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry, you know, like certain cards were expensive, but you always could build a decent, good deck for cheap, and a lot of staple cards were cheap. Because, I mean, if we look back, just look back at older sets, like the first original 5 sets, and if you looked at them and you said, this is a good card, this is a good card, this was a good card, but it's banned, this was a good card, you'll notice that a lot of them are commons, rares, and supers. A lot of them are. Now, there are cards that, you know, are just good straight up, that were meta used and are used even today. But back then, it seemed like they reprinted enough things so kids could get into the game quickly. Now, not that much, but they reprint things just for everyone in general that has a little bit of money. So those are my thoughts. And in conclusion, this is what we're going to go over. I know this has been a very long video, so I hope you had your popcorn, but think of it this way. Next time you see a Yu-Gi-Oh product, who is it geared towards? Kids or adults? Or people from the past that have nostalgia glasses? Number 2, could it also possibly be geared for kids and adults? AKA dangers, but having the cyber drag stuff being super cheap. AKA being Thunder Dragons being expensive because that's the more meta thing, while everything else is cheaper. Think of it this way. Or is it a set that's geared for reprints and for what? Nostalgia people, like the Legendary Collections, Yugi, Kaiba, Raw Mega. Yeah, you get where I'm going with this. What is it geared towards? What are they trying to hit at? And does it hit the mark? Think about it in that light. Is this a children's card game? No, not necessarily. But in a way it is. It's kind of a middle ground, I have to say, in conclusion with this video. So tell me your thoughts. Do you think it's a children's card game? Do you agree with some of my points? Do you think Konami, yeah, they hit different mediums, I think, but not everything they throw out is going to be geared towards adults, and not everything is going to be geared towards kids. Somewhere in the middle, it feels like. Different product is supposed to be geared towards different people, different age groups. Do you feel that that's the case with Konami? And tell me your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear this talk, because this is, I feel like if it's become a meme. Yu-Gi-Oh is not a children's card game. Yu-Gi-Oh is not a children's card game. And people just say it and they don't think about it. But if you think about it, yes it is and yes it's not. It's somewhere in the middle. That's what I feel like at the end of this video. Tell me your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.